Welcome, everybody, to the Sonoma Spiel. My name is Tim with Sonoma Valley Visitors Bureau, and every week we have amazing things we talk about. This week, listen up. It's kind of a blustery fall day today. It was the evenings have been cooled off. The mornings are cool, but the afternoons are hot. It's like 80 degrees, and that's actually good for the grape harvest. I know if you go back and listen to the podcast, I know you do. I've been talking about harvest now for 12 months, but I swear to God, it's coming any second now. And as it heats up, that's when the grapes are really starting to come in. I'm starting to see a lot of the macro bins, the big bins of the grapes coming down on the trucks, and it's a good thing. A lot of buses have been on the plaza, so it means a lot of people are coming up here. They come up, they have 1 hour to eat, and they run up to the visitor center staff. They go, where can we eat? And we point them in different directions. And today I had a woman who's really amazing high heels, like the kind stiletto types. She's from LA. Beautiful outfit. And her husband goes, we need to buy practical shoes. Where can we find some? So directed her to the shoe shop and also where to find some moleskin at CVS. And then I thought, okay, it's October. It's almost, by the time you listen, it's be October, so we need some pumpkins for the visitor center for the cart out front. So I run to the farmer's market like I do every Friday. I talked to my pumpkin guy, Jimmy. I've got a pumpkin guy. Everyone does here. And I said, Jimmy, I need pumpkins. And he said, we don't have any here, but you have to come to the farm to get pumpkins. And October 14th, we'll be launching them with the trebuchet. As you do, we'll be launching gourds and pumpkins and all sorts of things over at Oak Hill Farm in Glen Ellen. So that's kind of neat. But that's not as neat as my guest, because this week I have a very special guest. I know I say every week I have a very special guest. This time I actually mean it. He looks like he's from the outdoors. He smells of pine and oak and other things. It's Brad Day with Weekend Sherpa. Brad, how you doing?
I'm good. That's the best intro I've ever had. Smelling of pine and oak and the outdoors.
That's right. He's rattling to the outdoors. It's Brad. Brad, you are from the outdoors, right? I mean, like your business is hiking and stuff, right?
Yeah. So Weekend Sherpa, if you're not familiar with it, is a website and an email. If you like getting outdoors and you live in California and the Bay Area or even in LA, you should sign up for Weekend Sherpa.
Even in LA?
Even in LA.
Even if you're from LA, we'll still talk to you.
Yeah, even if you're from LA. LA gets a bad rap, but they got some amazing outdoors. You just got to work a little bit harder, I would say, than you do
to go find it,
in the Bay Area. But every week we send out an email about, here's a few great ways to get outdoors locally. If you happen to live in the Bay Area, we have a Bay Area edition. If you live in Southern California, we have a Southern California edition. So we're writing about great places to go hiking or bike riding,
so kayaking. It's just like suggestions on your weekend.
Yes.
Right? Because tell me, okay, Brad, where are you from?
I'm from Central California, the Central Valley, the Visalia, if you're familiar with Highway 99.
You're telling me we got San Francisco and we got LA, San Diego, Disneyland. Yeah. There's something in the middle?
I know, it's crazy.
What?
The unexplored middle.
So you're from the Central Valley where everyone's food actually comes from.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah. It's very agricultural in the Central Valley. It's very hot.
Yes.
But, where I grew up in Visalia, it's not too far from Sequoia National Park.
Okay.
Which not a lot of people get to. It's, Yosemite always makes the list. And
yeah, that's the pretty girl that everyone knows about.
Of course. I mean, and it's amazing. Yosemite is very, very beautiful. But Sequoia, that's just kind of like my hometown.
Really?
National Park is about 30 minutes from the entrance from where I grew up.
For real? So you were right there at the beginning of that. It is a beautiful national park.
And it's crazy. The ecology of Sequoia goes from like the foothills all the way up to the highest peak in the lower 48, Mount Whitney. That's all Sequoia, Kings Canyon National Park. So it's a really diverse national park. A lot of great hikes and backpacking and all kinds of good stuff.
So you grew up in Visalia, which for people who are from California know, a lot of grapes come from down that area. And some fruits and trees and also, it is an agricultural powerhouse, that county.
Oh yeah, Tulare County, yeah. And
currently has a lake.
Yeah, this last winter, the super wet winter created a lake. It's crazy. I don't know if it's still there.
Supposedly it is. It's massive. It's shallow. And it's like, the California Central Valley used to be a lake.
Yeah.
And every year before humans were really here, and definitely before European colonization and changing everything, it would flood.
Yeah.
And the rivers would flood, and it would just be this massive wetland. And I guess Tulare Lake is back. It's back and better than ever.
I don't know how people feel about it. But
Yeah, this time there's actually houses and towns down there, so it's a little bit different. But that's amazing. That shows the ecology of that area.
Yeah, I mean, and there also used to be Thule elk wandering around. We used to have like grizzly bears all over California. I mean, this was, you go back a couple thousand years, this was a totally different place, right? Can you imagine that?
Just gotta wait; it might change again. We have a grizzly bear on the flag, so we used to do that.
And we actually have black bears in Sonoma County, even in Sonoma Valley.
Really?
Yeah, they've been hanging around Sugarloaf Ridge State Park a little bit.
Okay.
And Hood Mountain Regional Park just up the valley.
That's like
Isn't that
20
crazy?
minutes from where we're sitting.
I know.
You could drive and be in an area where there's black bears.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
I love that, actually.
That is. The Sonoma Ecology Center, they have the trail cams.
Yeah.
And occasionally they'll publish stuff on the
That's how I
online.
found out about it.
And I was like,
looking
that's
at that.
nuts. I'm like, that surely is Yosemite or like Montana. And they're like, this is Glen Ellen.
I know. It's crazy. I've never run into one, and I've never seen or talked to anybody who has run into them, but according to the trail cams, they're out there.
They're out there. And we don't want to run into them, really. We kind of want them up there.
Yeah.
Like
doing
the
their
cougars.
thing.
Yeah,
Not
do your
getting
thing.
used to garbage cans like the Tahoe ones, right? Oh, man.
Those ones like know how to like hotwire cars now, don't they? Like they're good.
Totally. It's Grand Theft Auto with those flags.
Those cars are really smart. They're like, they smoke cigarettes. They're like, that's not how you cook. They know how to do everything. Okay, so let's go back. Weekend Sherpa. Sorry, you're in here, Sonoma.
Yes.
And Weekend Sherpa is a website where, if I recall, you used to send out an email.
We do. Once a week, we send out an email about great things. So you sign up, it's free. You get a weekly email from us, not all the time, just on Thursday mornings, giving you what's good to do outdoors locally around California. So it's great. It's all the content that we write has been, checked out firsthand by somebody on our team. So we're actually going out and we're checking out these little lodges or these hikes.
You're actually doing them.
We're actually doing
This
it.
isn't like the stuff you see online with the Yelp or TripAdvisor where like, I can do 25 reviews right now from my laptop and never go there.
And never go, right?
So you guys actually go out and try
we actually go do it. So, we have a small team of writers who's going out and doing all this stuff so that we know that we're getting the good stuff to share with our readers, like why this particular hike is great in October.
Okay.
And actually, we just wrote about Sonoma Valley. We wrote about going on a hike at Sugarloaf Ridge State Park.
Where the black bears are.
Where the black bears are. Don't worry about that. But going actually to the summit of Bald Mountain to catch the sunset and then stay a little bit to kind of like see some of the stars and maybe the moon rise.
Wow.
It's a full moon. I've done it a few times. That hike to the top of Bald Mountain is awesome. It's not like a gentle walk in the park. It's probably like 3 miles each way. But what makes it good to do is kind of like a sunset hike is that when you're coming back down, you're coming down a fire road. So it's pretty wide open. It's not like a sketchy trail or anything.
There's no big cliff to the side of you kind of thing.
Right. No, you just like bring a headlamp and just walk down, and it's like the sunset from up there. It's ridiculous. Like you can see all the way out to the Pacific. You're looking down in Sonoma Valley, and you can see like Kenwood. You can even look over towards the east, and you can see St. Helena.
Wow.
And if it's a super clear day, you can see the Sierra Nevada range.
That's amazing.
It's awesome. Like
so you're looking through this over the Central Valley where you grew up. You're looking out back towards the Sierra.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're at the top of that, the Mayacamas range, so you're just getting just a spectacular view. And at sunset, nobody's up there.
That's pretty nice.
So it's pretty cool.
And I think sometimes they even have guided night hikes through the Ecology Center again, or through Sugarloaf, the state park up there, and they do that. You write about that kind of stuff. Why do you do this? Like, how did this start? Why are you here, Brad? No, like,
You're getting all angry. What happened?
What is going on, Brad? No, so like, were you just like sitting in Sonoma and you're like, I don't know what to do, so I'm just gonna do it myself, or what happened?
No, I was in San Francisco at the time, and I was working at a magazine, at San Francisco Magazine, and I remember, each monthly issue, I'd get really excited about the ones where they would focus on outdoor content because it was like, they do restaurants, they do like lifestyle and
Top
culture.
10 orthodontists in San Francisco.
Isn't that a great one? That's a good one. The best doctors.
lots of full-page ads in that one, though, right?
Yeah. But they would do local outdoor stuff, but it wasn't very frequent. It was like maybe a few issues per year.
Which is ironic because San Francisco is surrounded by the outdoors.
I know.
Surrounded.
I know. So I was like, well, I like this content. I think other people like getting this information. There's not really any particular website, magazine that's focusing on kind of this local outdoor stuff, which is great year round. So at the time, web emails like Daily Candy, I don't know if you remember that from back in the day, was a daily email with great writing. I was like, what if you took that kind of format but applied it to local outdoor stuff, but instead of daily, you just do it weekly. So that's how the San Francisco Bay Area edition launched, was just like an email to my friends and family saying, hey, I'm starting this Weekend Sherpa thing. It's about local outdoors. Sign up for it if you want good information on that. And then it just kind of blew up from there. A few years later, we launched a Los Angeles edition. And now we've been doing it for 17 years. And
it's been that long.
It's been that long. Yeah, it's crazy.
I remember I signed up for it back when I lived in Oakland, and that was about 17, 16 years ago.
Is that when you were working with Sonoma County?
No, I was working for San Francisco Travel.
Oh,
back then, San Francisco Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was living in Oakland, and I heard about this thing, and we're like, well, we can go outside and do stuff, man. And we had little kids. We couldn't do anything. But we could dream about it.
Right.
And I remember hearing about the trails, especially up there in the East Bay. There's some great Grizzly Peak and stuff like that. Above Tilden and everything.
Tilden, Wildcat.
It's beautiful. I mean, that's, again, San Francisco. It's so funny that the magazine obviously concentrates on San Francisco, but if you look at a donut hole, the mountains that surround San Francisco, they're beautiful. And there's obviously for you, a lot of places that you can write about.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a great way to describe it, too. Even going south and that whole Skyline Boulevard area in the South Bay, there's just so many parks and trailheads off of that. And
has anyone ever done this where every county has a peak in it, right? So Marin's got Mount Tam. We've got Mount St. Helena, which also share with Napa / Lake, maybe. Lake will give them Canocti. Diablo in the East Bay. Mount Umunhum in the South Bay. Hamilton also in the South Bay.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever done 7 peaks, 7 days? And we do a hike. Were they kind of cool? And we
like a fastest known time. Who can
or it's just a challenge. And San Francisco, I think it's Davidson's tallest mountain. So we kind of just do all the peaks.
Yeah.
And obviously you can drive to all of them now.
Yeah, a lot of them, right? Mount Diablo, right?
Yeah, exactly. Go right up there. But I think you could do these 3 to 4 mile hikes, sometimes longer, and go up there. And I think the Weekend Sherpa Challenge.
There you go. I'm taking that idea.
Just do
That's
it.
a great idea.
Yeah, I talked to my friend Matt about this. Matty Vino, he's been on this.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it. We're like, this is great. We need new knees, and we need to lose 20 pounds. But we can do it.
You can do this.
And, and maybe I could do it over a month or something.
Yeah. No, that's a great idea. You know what it doesn't get a lot of recognition, but a peak in the Bay Area that has a tremendous view, and it's literally right in the middle of it, is Angel Island. The peak at the top is called Mount Livermore, and you can hike up to the top of it. And there's little picnic tables and stuff, but I mean, you get the 3 bridge view, like the Richmond Bridge, Golden Gate Bridge, and the Bay Bridge, and I think you can even see further down south to the Dunbarton Bridge and those other bridges. But
I bet you can on a clear day, especially in the winter when it's that, and it's just crisp up there.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I've camped out there one time. It's if you want a ridiculous camping experience, camp on Angel Island.
Because you look back into San Francisco, don't you?
Yeah, you're looking at the Golden Gate Bridge. I mean, you're getting one of the best views for $35 a night, right? And and you're listening to the foghorns at night, and you can hear the distant city parties going on. It's just wild.
Somewhere a plutocrat in Tiburon is paying bajillions of dollars to get that view, and you're like, I got it for $35 in a tent, sucker.
Although getting a spot is hard.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I think it's Reserve America or Reserve California, one of the park systems, and it's. I mean, that's the other thing about camping in Northern California is all the stuff that's close to San Francisco or Oakland it goes super fast. Angel Island goes super fast. Good stuff in Sonoma County, like Salt Point. It's great camping. Yeah,
they have dwarf trees up there at Salt Point. If you take a little hike and you go up, they have a dwarf tree forest. And it's not that some sort of weird variance in the tree. It's just the nutrients stunt them. So they're like normal trees that you would see. They would grow taller, but because they kind of hit the nutrient-less layer of the soil, they stop growing.
Oh, that's
it's really weird. Yeah, you're hiking through to big tall trees, and all of a sudden you come to a clearing, and you're like, everything's 6 feet tall. This is weird.
That is
weird. Huge. Well, let me ask you that one. What are some good camping sites around Sonoma County or Sonoma Valley that you know of?
Yeah, I mean, Sugarloaf is one of my favorites just because, or not Sugarloaf. Actually, Sugarloaf is good. They actually have, I think, tent camping they introduced recently.
And I think they even rent a tent to you if you don't have one.
Yeah, exactly. So it's super turnkey. But Salt Point was what I was going to say, just because it's right on the coast and you can just walk down to the trails. A good one, but like I was saying, you have to get reservations for a lot of these places, even Sugarloaf. One that you don't have to. So if you're being kind of like, you don't have a plan, but you really want to go camping this weekend, or you just came into Sonoma Valley and you're like, maybe we want to go explore other parts of the county, is Pomo Canyon. And that's just like, if you get close to the town of Jenner, it's on the southern side of the Russian River, and it's a first come, first serve campground in the redwoods.
Okay.
It's ridiculously beautiful. Like each campsite is kind of distant from the next, so it feels very intimate, like you kind of have your own campsite. It's not like one on top of the next.
So it's almost like the backpacking experience, but with the drive-in camping ability to get there.
You have to like walk to your site, which is maybe 1 to 3 minute walk, so it's not far, but first come, first serve. It's a great spot to get that.
Pomo Canyon, good one.
Pomo Canyon is a great one. I mean, and there's even some further ones back up in like Hood Mountain. I don't know if they've reopened that since, some of the natural disaster stuff we had a few years ago. But I mean, we're spoiled in Sonoma County. There's just so much to do, from the hiking to the camping to the bike riding to the wine. I mean, it's ridiculous. It is an amazing county.
All right. Well, here's some more questions I got. Because I posted that I was having you on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
So people asked some questions.
Uh-oh.
Ready?
All right.
What's your favorite trail that you've hiked, and what made it so memorable?
Oh, man.
This comes from Molly. That was her question.
Oh, really? Okay. That's a tough one, and I get asked that a lot, and it kind of depends on like...
It's like asking your mom and dad who's your favorite kid.
Right. But I have a lot of children.
Right.
I mean, I've been on a lot of trails.
That's right.
One that I just love is going to Point Reyes and actually hiking the Tamales Point Trail.
Okay.
So, and the reason I love that trail so much is that it's close to San Francisco. It's close to Sonoma. It's a Bay Area trail. And Point Reyes, I just think is a spectacular place to go. And on that particular hike, you're on the top of kind of like this gentle ridge line. So to the west, you're looking at the Pacific Ocean. And if you go during gray whale season, basically November through April, you might have a chance of seeing a gray whale.
See a whale out in the ocean.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Absolutely. Just staying on shore, especially in the springtime when they're kind of a little closer to shore in March and April. It's a good time to see gray whales from shore. But on the eastern side, you have Tamales Bay, and you get that kind of view. And so you're kind of like hiking through some like high brush wildflowers, and you get to the very tip of Point Reyes or Tamales Point, the northern part, and it's just like this kind of confluence of the waves and the bay, and it's just really cool. It's maybe a 4.5 mile hike each way. It's not super hard.
Right?
No, it's Point Reyes, so you're kind of cruising along at the same elevation the entire time. And the other really cool thing about that hike is that you get to see tule elk. It's almost guaranteed.
Really?
Yeah. So they have like several hundred tule elk in Point Reyes.
Okay.
And they're huge. And they're native to California. They're native to the Point Reyes area. And you get to walk right by these big boys. That's super cool. So it's like this wildlife experience too. Yeah.
When first time you see an elk, you think, is that a moose? Because they are massive. We're used to seeing a little deer out here, little white-tailed deer jumping around. Yeah. Whatever. And then you see the tule elk, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And that harkens back, as you said, to the grizzly bears that used to be here, and the megafauna we used to have in the Bay Area.
I know. We got rid of the megafauna. Bring back the megafauna. we need to do a bumper sticker.
Bring back the megafauna. I love it. Okay, that's good. So that's a good hike. So Point Reyes is like one of your favorite.
I love it. Absolutely.
Another question I got from someone named Lisa, of which, if you're my age, you know a lot of people named Lisa. So
Sarah's right up there.
Sarah and Lisa, man, they're all there. What is your favorite treat after a hike? Or kayak or bike or whatever. Like, what do you
honestly, beer.
Yeah, that's good. No, I like a dark beer. Like you're out there. I don't know why a dark beer tastes better in the outdoors. Yeah. But for some reason, it's the malt or something. It just tastes good, especially in the winter.
I love all beer. I mean, honestly, I usually kind of veer towards like a IPA and. A few years ago, I got into the hazy IPAs, and I still haven't gotten over that trend. I still love it.
Right.
It's so delicious.
Okay, but the terms have gotten ridiculous. The hazy, juicy, double.
Oh, I know.
Super.
It's like, oh my God. I'm not going to dissect your beer, but I'm going to drink it, and it's going to be delicious.
That's a good one. Yes, and IPAs are always good. Very West Coast thing, very Pacific Northwest. Yeah. So that's a classic.
And sometimes wine. I mean, sometimes a nice glass of like Riesling or Chardonnay or something like that after you're hot.
Well, okay, Brad, you seem to know a lot about wine, though. Can you tell me, is this something that you know how to make?
Well, that's very specific.
Is it? Tell me, 'cause a little bird told me that you're also part of a home winemaking association.
I am, yeah. The Sonoma Home Winemakers.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're amateur home winemakers, not commercial, just kind of doing it for fun,
Right.
for a hobby, quote unquote fun. It's fun when it works out. It's not so fun when your wine stinks.
It is funny how, and I've brought this up before, anyone can make wine. You can put grapes in a bucket, put them in a warm enough garage. You'll have wine.
Yeah.
It will be terrible wine,
Probably.
but it will ferment.
Yeah.
Right? And the trick is to get beyond the terrible bucket in the garage into something that you're proud to give out at Christmas, right? You're like, I made this.
Yeah, it's true. Like the whole point is basically don't screw it up. It's just like we have such good grapes here in Sonoma Valley.
Right.
And through this club, I've had access to some great grapes, some Pinot Noir, some Zinfandel, and all that kind of stuff. So, I've been playing with making wine for the last several years, and some years are great. Actually, one of my best years was 2017, believe it or not. That was
Interesting.
It's an interesting year in Sonoma history.
Is that because you had to leave and you left them in the bucket in the garage?
So no, we did. We
You
got
didn't touch
evacuated.
them and they turned fine.
It's like I didn't screw it up. Apparently,
If I recall, at UC Davis Viticultural School, just don't screw it up. Isn't
Just
that
don't
like
screw it up. Oh, that is that. Yeah.
No, that should be.
Yeah.
Okay, so you make, what kind of wines do you like to make? Any kind? Or?
I like Zinfandel. I like Pinot Noir. And that's just because I've had access to getting those grapes. But I mean, I'd love to make like a Cabernet or a Syrah. I've never made a white wine before.
Really?
I'd like to try that out. But
How do you get your grapes? Do you just like go out under cover of night with your headlamp and
Yeah,
liberate some grapes?
Totally guerrilla. Yeah. No, I have. So I planted some grapes in our backyard in 2013. Yeah. So we have about 80 vines, which is enough for like, I think maybe 6 or 7 cases of wine. So that's enough. And then sometimes you get extra, like through the home winemakers, you get access to grapes.
Like they all know a guy.
There's lots of I know a guy.
Grapes fell off a truck.
Yeah.
Or usually I know a lot of home winemakers also, after a professional winemaker or a vineyard person picks, they're like, you're welcome to have whatever's left, because they often don't pick everything.
Right.
Or they're like, we have enough to make our wine, so it's all yours.
Yeah.
So you can go in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you make this stuff literally in your garage? Are you a garage yeast?
I mean, the garage gets really hot, so I make it kind of like in our backyard.
Like in a shed or something? Or do you like literally like have like a bunch of umbrellas and you're making it in your backyard?
Just make it in the backyard.
You are?
Yeah.
I love this.
You just make it in the backyard. You have like what's called a crusher destemmer. So you pick all the grapes and you want to basically, typically you crush and destem it like right away.
Okay.
Like right when you pick them.
Right.
And so that goes into like some kind of a holding vessel. We use garbage cans and then it goes through fermentation. That takes about a week, 10 days. And that's where basically after that first fermentation or that primary fermentation, you have wine. Right? It's like right there after about 10 days.
So it has the alcohol, the sugar. You
It's
can literally drink that.
You could. It will not be good. It'll probably taste not great. It needs some time.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So it has to age a little bit. Somehow.
Has to age a little bit. And then it can go through a secondary fermentation called malolactic, which most red wine does, and Chardonnay does too, typically, to give you that kind of like buttery tendencies that you get in the wine. That's just kind of like all this scientific stuff, and like reading a lot of books, talking to these guys from the club has been very helpful, and also just lots of notes. You just got to take a lot. You remember, what did I do that one year that it turned out great? You got to write it down
like a scientist. You write down the lab notes.
Yeah. Yep.
Are there professional winemakers that help you out?
No, I wish.
Are they busy doing other things around harvest?
That's the thing, right? It's like we all are doing our thing at the same time, harvest. And it's like they're doing it professionally. Do they want to talk to the hobby guy?
Hey, I know you've been working 20 hours. You want to swing by the old meeting after hours? Like, no, I want to sleep and see my family.
Those guys are exhausted.
Yeah.
I know. But I do enjoy drinking Sonoma Valley wine.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
What's your favorite, varietal?
It's funny you mentioned, I like Zinfandel. I really do like Zinfandel. In the summer, I tend though to go, like a lot of people, to Sauvignon Blanc, which is a really nice backyard wine.
Yeah.
Chardonnay, I've never been a huge. You mentioned the malolactic and the buttery flavor, the diacetyl. I'm not a big fan of that, so I like the crisper white wines.
Yeah.
if you ever have
Gewürztraminer.
Gewürztraminer, I mean, sometimes people go super sweet on that.
Yeah.
So you gotta be careful, right? I was
True.
gonna say Gruner Veltliner, which is an Austrian grape.
yeah.
Some people make it here.
Really?
That's a really good, crisp backyard wine. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Red wines, like I said, I do like Zinfandel. Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir is tricky though, right? Like some people get so into Pinot Noir, they become crazy and the whole sideways thing.
Yeah.
And I don't get that level of excited specifically about Pinot Noir. Like I've had really, really delicious, amazing, expensive Pinot Noirs.
Yeah.
And I've also had really delicious, amazing, not expensive Pinot Noirs.
Yeah.
And some it's my palate. I have allergies, so half the time I can't really taste a big difference. So I'm like, I'm okay here, right? But I know that Pinot Noir is very finicky. And the people who are into Pinot are like
They're really into Pinot.
They're like Dungeons and Dragons people. Like they're way into it, and they'll talk. And you're like, I'm so happy that you're passionate about this, but like I'm just not feeling it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I can honor their excitement.
Yeah.
You know.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about this. I can tell.
Right. Like Syrah. I love Syrah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's funny because ones I don't normally buy. I have this weird thing, and you might have it too. When you go to the store and you actually buy wine.
Yeah.
Like. Which is kind of rare because you get a lot of wine around here.
Yeah.
But then you're like, I'm going to run into another winemaker, and they're going to look in my grocery cart.
Uh-huh.
And they're going to
You're going
like,
to get judged.
Exactly. Like Paul Justo from Highway 12 is going to be like, His Honor, why is there some Benziger there? And then or Jill Benziger is going to see me and say, what's up with the Highway 12 wine? I'm like, so I love you all equally, right? So you got that problem. I love that you're a home winemaker. Did you grow up in a winemaking family, though?
No. Just a friend was kind of like into it, and then I kind of got into it based off of him. But it's fun. I mean, the barrier to entry is a little steep because it's like I was renting the gear for it. Like the crusher distemper.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because all this stuff can be several $100s.
And what's funny is you only use it for like a week.
Right.
Or less if you're just doing it one
If you're just doing one. So like before I was like fully committed to doing this, I was renting the gear and I was driving to Napa to the rental place.
From some guy to rent it from?
No, it's Napa Fermentation.
Right,
so they'll rent you all the stuff. But it starts to add up. And after a few years of that, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm just went to Craigslist and bought some stuff.
Oh, you did? You committed. Okay, good.
Yeah.
And that's better than buying one from a professional because then you'd have to make 5,000 cases.
Right. And there'd be a lot of pressure.
Right. Your wife.
It's frustrating enough just doing it as a hobby.
What's going on with the distemper out there and the crush pad and Do you squish the grapes with a basket press or something like that, or how do you actually do the crush? Because they use a bladder press here. I mean, everyone thinks we use Barefoot Italian Girls, which we do.
Sometimes.
But sometimes they go on strike. Their union's very strong. So they use a bladder press, which air squishes out, right? It squishes the grapes. What do home winemakers do?
Typically, it's that crusher distemper.
Okay.
So that's kind of like the all-in-one to like you take your picked grapes and you throw it in there, and then it will crush it and take the stems off and basically have it ready to go for primary fermentation.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a glorious machine.
And then saves you a lot of money and time and stuff.
Totally.
Like that.
You don't have to stomp on them. You don't have to do anything. It's ready to go.
But if Barefoot Italian Girls did show up,
yeah, you'd let them give them a whirl. All right, just have fun.
Here you are, Francesca. Go for it. All right, that's pretty good. Brett, did you, going back to your hiking and stuff like that, as a kid, did you grow up doing a lot of hiking and kayaking and biking, or how did you come into this?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it was the outdoors has always been something that I've been pretty passionate about. Biking as well. Been into mountain biking. I actually, when I was in high school, I started a club at my high school. It's kind of dorky, but I started a club called the Outdoor Club. So the Outdoor Club...
Take that AV club, you bunch of dorks. Or the Outdoor Club.
It was very literal. It was like, well, what are they about? They're about the outdoors. I would like basically organize trips for anybody at the high school who wanted to go. And we would take whitewater rafting trips, camping on the beach. We did some hiking trips. We did a mountain bike trip up in Kings Canyon. We did a variety of
And your
trips.
high school allowed this?
What was funny was like I asked a variety of teachers that I had if I could have the meeting in their classroom during lunch.
Right.
And I got a lot of no's. There was one guy, Mr. DeBrule, who was my science teacher, he was like, "You can do it in my room, but I'm leaving. Like I don't want to know what you're talking about on your whitewater rafting trip."
Plausible deniability. What he could have done is like it's for biology, and you guys are out there going to find field, stuff or whatever.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
So does Mr. DeBrule know that he set you off on your career?
I don't know what happened. I'm not sure. Well, he was a great teacher though. He rode a Harley on the weekends. He used to show these like National Geographic, like when teachers kind of wanted to phone it in on a specific day, they'd bring in the VHS VHS cart. They're like, here, press play, and then they just kind of zone out.
Right.
But his were really cool. Like he would do like outdoor ones. Like
Okay.
There's this one guy. He's kind of famous in Yosemite. His name's Ron Kauk. He's like one of the original rock climbers in Yosemite Valley, and he there was like a PBS special on the VHS that he showed about climbing Monkey Face, which is outside of Bend, Oregon.
Okay.
And I remember this like vividly when I was 16 years old, just watching that, being like, that is super cool. So yeah, no, he's a great guy, great teacher, and I was really excited that he let us use his classroom for the outdoor club.
Outdoor club, man.
Yeah.
Did a lot of kids sign up?
Yeah, we had a pretty good showing. Like our trips, we'd have like anywhere from 30. I think we had up to like 80 people come on a bike ride. It was fun. It's just like your high school crew,
Right.
The meetings at lunch were always fun. We would do a float, and like some of the parades. It was just
like the Visalia
just
parade.
no, it's like the homecoming floats,
All right.
right?
Wait, what was your high school mascot?
The Redwood Ranger.
Oh,
like
the Redwood Ranger. Okay, I like
I
that.
went to Redwood in Visalia. So like park rangers.
All right. Oh, so he was dressed up like a Smokey the Bear hat.
Yep.
And like a ranger.
Yep.
And he'd say, "Watch out for the bears, kids," or something like that, or
Basically.
be careful of fire.
Yep.
Did you have redwoods in Visalia? I always thought Visalia's in the valley.
It's in the valley, but Visalia claims a lot of what's outside of it. So Redwood High School, there's no redwoods.
Hey,
And the opposing high school is Mount Whitney. Mount Whitney is several hundred miles away.
really? So I'm just getting the theme here about Visalia. It's like, hey kids, get out of here. Like, it's like get out. Anytime I'm in the tourism game. Anytime a place claims to be the gateway to something,
Beware.
I mean, they're great and they're more affordable hotels,
Yes.
right? But it's the gateway to, right?
You're
Just
going to
like,
need to go somewhere,
I
is
mean,
what they're telling
yeah,
you.
Burlingame's the gateway to San Francisco, right? And there's nothing wrong with Burlingame.
Sure.
Right, it's a great place,
Right.
but it's not San Francisco.
Right.
But if you want to visit Burlingame and all the stuff that's there,
Sure.
kind of gotten into a cul-de-sac on the conversation.
No,
so I
but
can't
it's-
think of
I
anything.
mean, like-
the airport's there.
Yeah.
San Francisco Airport.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to see that.
They do?
There's a Pete's Coffee I go to and he needs a bathroom. Anyway, it's nice, but you get the idea. The gateway
Okay.
to something.
Gateway to something, yes.
Something. All right, Brad, before we go into you helping answer some questions that we got,
Okay.
you have to tell people, how do they find this business of yours again? What's it called?
Weekend Sherpa?
Oh, that one. So
Yes.
do you guys have a website or something like that?
We do. Weekend and Sherpa, SHERPA.com. And you just can sign up for our free weekly email, and you'll hear from us every Thursday morning about what's good to do outdoors around California.
And there's a Northern California and a Southern California. Do I have to be a vapid silicone enhanced person to subscribe to the LA one? Or even if I'm a cool Birkenstock wearing patchouli smelling Northern Californian, can I get the Southern California one too?
You can get both. You can whatever you're interested in. You can sign up for one or both.
How come we haven't done a Central Valley one? Like a Fresno one, a Bakersfield one.
I don't know.
No, I'm serious. There's like it's not as many people down there, clearly, but there's pretty substantial populations there. So, the Central Valley Sherpa.
We do
Middle
reach out to the Sierra Nevada, which is probably would be a lot of the content for those areas. We do that already a bit, so, but it's not a bad idea. I'll take that back to the team.
He will not do that. Brad, you're so diplomatic. I appreciate that. Which is perfect for our next section here. Brad, you know that we have 2 visitor centers.
Yeah.
And people text us and they call us and do stuff. You're going to help us in a segment we call We Get Questions.
Oh, all right.
All right, here we go. Actual questions that we've received. You have not seen these yet, have you?
I have not.
Do you want me to hand them to you, or you want to just have me read them to you?
Just let's go.
Okay, here we go. I love this. Thank you. I love it. This one I'm going to try to do. Here we go. The 6 of us got here from Australia. I don't know why I'm doing the accent.
No, keep going.
We're looking for a winery that offers a luncheon and a tour and a tasting. What do you suggest? I'm sort of Kiwi, South African, and Irish at the same time. So the 6 of us got here from Australia. We're looking for a winery that offers a luncheon, I'm assuming lunch, and a tour and a tasting. Mm-hmm. What do you suggest?
Boy.
Help these Aussies.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. All right. I would probably say Buena Vista, actually. Buena Vista, because they definitely do tours. It's the oldest premium winery in California, so it's got a lot of history. You can check out the champagne cellars and go on that tour. You can absolutely taste there. Mm-hmm. They have some great Pinot Noirs and Chardonnays. And they do offer lunch. I think they have like a food truck that comes on the weekends, or you can get like a box lunch. It's owned by the same company that owns Oakville Grocery, so I think they bring in some of those provisions that that they have on site, so that you could get all three of those
Right there, one spot.
right there at
Good
Buena
job.
Vista.
You nailed that.
Come on, baby.
Good job.
Come on. What else you got?
That was so easy. Yeah, see, Buena Vista is a great one. There is, I mean, St. Francis Winery is known for doing a food and wine pairing. It's actually more like it's not a meal because I can't say it's a meal, but it's like a meal.
Yeah.
It's very similar, and they can do a tour there. Almost every winery will have some sort of food option that you can purchase. They're not restaurants, but there might be small pairings that they do. Letson, I think, has a little deli and stuff like that.
And some you can bring a lunch too.
Right,
Some.
call ahead.
Right,
But you can picnic there. Absolutely.
Like Sebastiani Winery,
Yep.
not too far from the plaza, has picnic tables, and you can totally bring your own stuff.
And they have food trucks there sometimes on Fridays when they do their different events and things like
Yep.
that. So, good job.
No,
You're
thank
amazing. Here's another one. I will not do an accent for this one because I don't know what accent this was. But
Okay.
But maybe it is also Australian. Who knows? Where can I take my dog in Sonoma Valley? So I've got a dog, and I'm visiting Sonoma
I know.
Valley. So probably not from Australia. It's hard to travel the dog.
Yeah.
But where can I take my dog?
That's a really good question, actually.
Yeah.
You can't take it on the plaza because the plaza doesn't allow dogs.
Yeah, so, and you're right. And you can and can't. Supposedly, you can go on the outside sidewalk.
You totally can, yes.
Right.
But if you want to go on like a walk with your dog, Sonoma Regional Park up in Glen Ellen is a great spot. And it's totally dog friendly. And there's some great trails. You can do anything from like a 30-minute hike to like an hour hike. They have a reservoir there. It's close to the Sonoma Developmental Center, that's just like a beautiful part of Sonoma Valley. That Arnold Drive that parallels Highway 12 going through Glen Ellen is really beautiful, and you can bring your dog there. Another place, state parks are typically not dog friendly, but Jack London State Park has a trail that is dog friendly. You can actually hike out to the Wolf House Ruins, which is where Jack London built his massive estate or he was trying to build his massive estate, and then it caught fire like before it was finished. And so you see the ruins of this like huge mansion with like a ridiculous number of like fireplaces because they had no central heating back then. So, but you can totally take your dog on I think it's like a half-mile hike to get out to the
that's good to know.
Wolf House.
That's Jack London State Park.
Yeah.
So you have Jack London State Park, Sonoma Valley Regional Park.
Yes.
And then Plaza, which is a city park, but you're right, you kind of have to walk around the outside. You can't technically go inside with your dog.
Right.
Although I've seen people do it.
Oh, I think it happens a lot.
But on First Street West, there is the city dog park, which is small, but it's an enclosed dog park. There's another one off Arnold, I think, and I think Sonoma Valley Regional Park has a dog park inside of it.
Yep.
And there's plenty of, some wineries do dog hikes. Like Cundy Winery does a dog hike. You can bring your dog. Yeah, you can look for that one. Spring Lake Regional Park, which is technically not in Sonoma Valley, but like it's just over the hill.
Yeah.
And it's kind of attached to Annandale/Howarth Park. So it's just in the northern part of the valley.
Yeah.
They have a thing called Water Bark where you can bring your dog to the swimming lagoon. Usually in the fall when they're done, they have a big swimming lagoon and the water's chlorinated, but it's sort of like a lake. And then after September, dogs can go in there.
Oh, cool.
It's hilarious. And there's a big fundraiser for all the dogs, and it's a madhouse. If you don't mind a muddy, happy dog, go there.
Go there. Or if you want to go to a winery with your dog, a lot of wineries are actually pretty dog friendly. Totally. Buena Vista that we mentioned before, Sebastiani that we mentioned earlier. Imagery, which is right up Sonoma Valley, has also got a dog-friendly picnic area. So there's a lot of options if you want to bring the pooch and do some wine tasting.
That's a good point. Well-behaved dogs, and also recommend don't hike in the vineyards with your dog. Ask permission. Dogs do eat grapes. Dogs shouldn't eat grapes. And it makes the home winemaker sad when their Pinot Noir gets munched by Fido.
True.
They're like, what the heck? Brad, here's another one we got. People ask us all sorts of weird questions.
Okay.
So this is kind of funny.
Okay, you're getting a little...
Right. What's a good way to identify a bug I found in Sonoma Valley?
Oh, a bug.
People think like we're a bunch of like entomologists, like, hey, here I am, bring the bug to me. Yeah, but you're an outdoors guy. Like, how would you go about identifying a bug?
Is there like an iNaturalist thing, or is there like an app that does that?
Yeah, I think iNaturalist does do that one. Or
Seek,
SEEK, which is from iNaturalist.
Okay.
It's through the California Academy of Sciences, and you can scan people, and it'll tell you it's a person. Yeah.
No way.
You can scan a cat, it'll tell you it's a cat, but you can also scan bugs. Yeah, I'm just going to pull it up here.
Huh.
Seek's a good one.
Yeah, I know.
Do you use any of those apps?
Sometimes there was one, I forget what it was called, but I was using it to identify different plants. You know, you're like, what kind of tree is this? And you just
Right.
take a photo of the leaf and it'll tell you, oh, this is most likely this kind of a tree.
Right.
I don't know, I forget what that app was called. I think there were several of them.
There's a
And
lot out there.
There's one that will rise to the top.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Only one shall win.
I know.
Well, I'm going to scan you and see if it tells you what it thinks you are. It says keep scanning.
A bug?
Well,
Hopefully not.
I'm using Seek, and it's funny because it identified my cat. Are you sure you're a human? Oh my gosh, maybe you're like one of the lizard people. Well, it doesn't seem like it's working right now, but it could also be the Wi-Fi. But I use Seek, and I can find all sorts of neat things. So I don't know anything about anything, but when people come up and ask me about a bug or a plant or whatever,
Yeah.
I go over there and I scan it.
Yeah. Let me just...
I'm like, that's a crepe myrtle. That's the kind of tree. But yeah, I also think if you go to the Sonoma Ecology Center website, they have a lot of information about plants and animals.
Great
The
resource.
flora and fauna, going back to our megafauna, that's found in Sonoma Valley, and you can kind of see there. But 90% of the time, it's a Jerusalem cricket, in which is a really ugly looking bug that you see a lot in the soil, and people freak out about it, and it's
Are they
totally
also
friendly.
called potato bugs?
It's funny about the potato bug. Let's talk about this because some people also called sow bugs potato bugs / hurly curlies potato bugs. Other people call Jerusalem crickets potato bugs. And we need to have a conference to settle this once and for all.
We do.
Among the council of 5-year-olds that look at bugs. Because you're right, they're also called potato bugs.
Yeah.
How'd you know that? Is that a Visalia thing? Come on.
We have chickens, and whenever a chicken gets a potato bug, it's like they won the lottery. They're just like
They're
running
massively
around.
huge, just like a snack.
Yeah.
Those are great.
Yeah, it's-
You raise chickens?
Well, raise versus have.
Okay, touche. You have chickens?
They're very low maintenance pet. I can say that.
Do they
Put out food and water.
Do they lay
you're good.
eggs?
They do.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they're not. I guess you say you raise chickens when they're meat chickens or something. I'm not sure.
No, you could say raised chickens.
Oh,
I
you
mean,
can?
they're
Okay.
like pets, but they're kind of like, it's hard to bond really well with a chicken unless you're super committed to wanting to bond with that chicken. Like you have to, like from a very young age, pick up the chicken a lot, and so that they're used to like being handled by a person.
Yeah, how to bond with a chicken? Your
That's a
chicken
different
and
podcast. How to bond with a chicken. You're gonna get tons of downloads on that.
Brad, I swear to God, I love that. We're gonna get angry chicken email because chicken people are serious.
Oh yeah.
They're like, okay, so you have chickens.
We have chickens.
but you're not bonded with them.
We've had some really good ones over the years that are like very sweet. Like Laverne. Laverne was great. She was an Easter egger. She had like these like greenish blue eggs. She was great. Loved Laverne. We haven't had another Laverne type in a while. So the ones we have now are just kind of like skittish. We have some grizzled veterans that have like they've been around for 10 years. We just need to install like chicken shuffleboard or something. It's like a retirement community for chickens.
I never knew this about you. I didn't know that you. Okay, well, great. Think grizzled chickens and an Easter egg chicken and all these different levels of chicken hierarchy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah, we have 3 young chicks at our house now because we had we got attacked over the summer. Unfortunately, a raccoon came into our chicken coop and it was just a massacre.
No.
Very unfortunate. We lost a few hens.
Sorry.
So we had to. We just got back on the horse and got some new chickens.
Went down to the old chicken store and
Yep.
got a chicken. You don't have a rooster though.
No, luckily not.
Okay.
Although it wouldn't be illegal if we did because
in
we
the
actually
county?
live outside of the city limits.
Right.
But I mean, you'd be a super annoying neighbor if you had.
People would always know when the sun's about to rise.
I know. The last thing about roosters, they'll crow through the night.
They're
We've had a
jerks.
rooster.
They're jerks.
They're total jerks.
Yeah, they'll chase you.
Yeah.
They're mean. Yeah, I used to live in a country with a lot of chickens in the Caribbean.
Really?
And we'd hear them all
In the
time.
Caribbean?
Yeah, and we'd hear chickens
You
all
lived
the
in
time.
the Caribbean.
I was in the Caribbean, yes.
When was that?
2003.
No kidding.
Yeah, a long time ago, before kids. And chickens were everywhere,
Yeah.
and they were loud.
Yeah.
And also, so is Haiti. So they have like a tradition of cockfighting.
Oh.
So people would also have lots of rooster. It was just like, those chickens are jerks. Like you'd have to like have a stick in your hand
Aggressive,
and be
yeah.
like, chicken? Or this rooster. You know, I'm going to walk down this trail and you are not going to attack me.
Leave me alone.
They would attack you.
Leave me alone.
I know. It's kind of embarrassing to lose a fight to a chicken, but here we are. Brad, this also reminds me, people who want to learn more about Weekend Sherpa and the outdoors, I think there's a podcast about the outdoors. Is it one that you host?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Yes, I host it with my co-founder and wife, Holly Kulak.
Okay.
It's called Weekend Sherpa, Take It Outside. So all you have to do is just search Weekend Sherpa.
Wait, you just took your high school club and made that the podcast, the Outside Club?
You know,
You're like Weekend Sherpa Outside Club Extended Edition.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's what life is. It's one long story.
What do you guys talk about on this podcast?
We talk about getting outdoors in California, what's new in the world of travel in California and beyond. We were just in this real cool area that I hadn't been to before called Plumas County.
Oh.
So we did a podcast recently about exploring Plumas County, which is like the very northern reach of the Sierra Nevada. It's kind of like where the Cascade Range and the Sierra Nevada and the Great Basin kind of all collide right there. So it's like a real
the northeastern corner of California.
Yeah, like Quincy, if you've heard of that town,
yeah.
is up there. Lake Almanor is up there, and also Lassen Volcanic National Park is up there, which is really cool. It's like got a little mud pot geothermal situation going, almost
cool.
like Yellowstone.
Right.
Yeah, it's really fun. So yeah, we'll talk about things like that, places we've been. We interview other people who are in kind of like the California outdoor scene, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. We're on our 58th episode now.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So how often are you doing that? Every couple of weeks or every week?
Usually it's every couple weeks. Yep.
Okay. And that's the Weekend Sherpa. Take It Outside.
Yes. Yep.
Go.
Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
Available wherever you find podcasts. And Brad, again, for the website for people on Weekend Sherpa is
WeekendSherpa.com.
Sign up for those emails. Brad, thank you for stopping by.
Thanks, Tim.
You've been wonderful. From everybody else, make sure you go to weekendsherpa.com for the information. If you want information about Sonoma Valley, go to sonomavalley.com. You can subscribe to our emails, which are almost as good as Brad's, and also have special offers, deals, and recipes. And if you have listened this long in the podcast, and you have because you hear my voice, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, give us 25 stars, whatever it is, so other people can know about it. Thanks for listening, Dad. I hope you feel better soon. We'll talk to you guys next week.